Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome, brothers and sisters. Ramadan Mubarak. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us this opportunity once again for next day of Jummah, also in this beautiful and blessed month of Ramadan. We say alhamdulillah. A few announcements. For the past few weeks, Jama Masjid have completed some of our major projects, like repainting of the masjid, recarpeting of the masjid, and renovations to the kitchen. We would like to thank our brothers and sisters for their contribution towards this project. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy for you and your family, inshallah. Also, a reminder, our exhibition on Islam at the Nalis Library has been being held in the month of July. Looking for brothers and sisters, to come aboard and us to assistance in any way. Anybody who are interested, groups, can contact myself, the Imam or Sister Shakira, inshallah. Also, every day in Ramadan, we have our lectures from 5:50 to 6:15 by 6 different Maulanas and learned brothers sometimes comes along and they invite all brothers and sisters to come take part in this lectures. Very interesting. And after we break fast, inshallah. We'd like to remind everyone our Sadatul Fitr is 14 and our Fidya is 15, inshallah. Also remind everyone that every night we have our young Hafiz Isa Ali Muhammad, who represent Trinidad and Tobago in the Hifz Commission in Dubai. We have him for Taraweeh Salah. You should come and hear the young brother recite, inshallah. We'd like to remind everyone too that our soup kitchen is still in progress. Anyone who is interested, for every Friday can contact myself, the Imam or Sister Shakira. We'd like to remind everyone in the car park, who comes in late to, attend the vehicle after this Jummah Salah, so you won't block the brothers and sisters who are leaving right after, inshallah. Today we have our dear Imam, Mawlana Safras Ghani, who leads us in the Khutbah and the Jummah Salah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم. فقد قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان. صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين. My dear respected elders, brothers and sisters, Alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us life, health, strength, that yet again we have found ourselves in another month of Ramadan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us yet another opportunity to try to redeem ourselves, another opportunity for blessing, another opportunity for barakah, another opportunity for forgiveness, and another opportunity for emancipation from the fire of hell. The month of Ramadan is indeed a very blessed, holy month in which many bounties and favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are sent down upon insan. The greatest blessing and the greatest bounty of the month of Ramadan is the Quran itself. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in one verse of the Quran, in Surah Al-Baqarah, that شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن, that it was the month of Ramadan in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decided to send down the Quran upon Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So along with it being a blessed month, it was also the month in which the Quran was revealed to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And as followers of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, as reciters of La ilaha illallah, we must understand what is the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us a very simple explanation. هَذَا بَلَاغٌ لِلنَّاسِ. Simple. Now this Quran, it is very simply a message for mankind. هَذَا بَلَاغٌ لِلنَّاسِ. And then the Prophet then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala went on to explain to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَلِيُنْذِرُوا بِهِ, so that you can utilize the Quran to warn people about what is to come in the life of the hereafter. So the Quran essentially is a message from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which has been masterfully engineered by Allah to appeal to the intellect and the intelligence of mankind and human beings. One of the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is that أَنزِلِ النَّاسَ مَنَازِلَهُمْ, that speak to people in such a way that they can respond to you. Speak to people in accordance to their intelligence, or treat people in accordance with their status. So someone who does not have a very high level of academic background, speak to him on a low term so that he also can understand. So the Quran is a message from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to mankind. And with regards to a message, there are a few ways that a message can be delivered, so that it can appeal to the person who is listening. So for example, a person can either deliver a message directly himself, whether be it verbally or written. A direct approach in the deliverance of a message, number one. Number two, that person can use signs to put across his message. And number three, that person can use an indirect approach, or he can use dramatization to get across his message. And if you look at a very simple example, let us look at a very simple message. Can I please have a glass of water? This is a very simple message. And if you were to try to put that in a scenario, let us think of three friends who are traveling through the desert on a very hot day. Two of them are walking through the desert empty-handed. The third person, he has in his hand a nice big bottle of cold water. So after some time, one of the other two, he became thirsty. So now he wants to send a message. He wants to send that simple message that, can I please have a glass of water? So again, he can either use one of the three methods. Method number one, he can be direct. And he can say to that brother, oh my friend, oh my brother, can I please have a glass of water? Verbally. Or he can write it in a note and present it to that person. So this is a direct approach of delivering that message. Approach number two, he can use signs. He can gesture with his hands, which would indicate to that person that he is thirsty. For example, when the cricketers are playing and the batsman, he wants a drink, what does he do? He signals to the dressing room with his hands, a gesture. And from that signal, they know that listen, we need to send out a couple of bottles of water. So approach number two, by using signs. And approach number three, that person can use an indirect approach, or he can use dramatization. So the other two people who are empty-handed, the person who is thirsty, he can say to the other brother that, I wish I had a glass of water to drink. And he can begin by having a dialogue with the other person, so that the other person with the water can hear the message, and the message will become delivered. So he begins to say to the other person, it is such a very hot day, and I have become so thirsty by traveling. Only if I had a glass of water in front of me. Only if I had something nice and cold to drink. So automatically the person with the water would get the message. And he would say, brother, listen, I have some water here with me. Can I offer you a glass of water? Can I offer you something to drink? So indirectly and through dramatization, the message has effectively been delivered. And when we look in the Quran, like it was mentioned before, Allah said the Quran is a message. هَذَا بَلَاغٌ لِلنَّاسِ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala engineered the Quran to reach out to the intellect of insan. And quite interestingly enough, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used all three methods in the Quran. A direct approach, a direct message. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used signs in the Quran, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about ayat, about the signs. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also used dramatization, an indirect approach, so that on all three counts the message could register with the intelligence of insan. So that insan has no excuse that, listen, I did not understand the message. The message was not clear. There was some type of doubt in the message. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed directly to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that kitabun unzila ilayk fala yakun fi sadrik, that O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, this is a Quran, a book which is being delivered to you. There should be no doubt in your heart with regard to the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, we have all read the Quran, we have all heard messages from the Quran which are actually direct. Messages about heaven and hell, about the Anbiya, about the ahkam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have all read about the signs in the Quran. So today let us look at some of the dramatization method that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used, the indirect messages that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used. And in these dramatization messages or indirect messages, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed them in the form of a dialogue. Just as one person was saying to the other person that it is a very hot day, only if I had something cold to drink. And by that he was actually sending a message indirectly to the other fellow. Similarly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed these parts of the Quran in dialogue form. So, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends a very clear message that those people who are able to please Him would be in paradise. Very simple. Those people who disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be in hell. Again, very simple. But to send that message, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed dialogues of these people when they are in heaven and when they are in hell. To get us to understand that it is a very, very serious issue. It is no joking matter. When a person realizes that he does not have enough in his account and he is being ushered away towards the gates of hell, at that time he would realize, the realization would dawn upon him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted us to understand the importance of that message from here, even before we left this world. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-A'raf gives us one dialogue. Again, a dramatization, or a skit, for want of a better word, of what actually would take place and what type of dialogue would fall out between the people of heaven and the people of hell. So when the people of paradise would have entered into their abodes, the people of hell also would have been entered into their abodes. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَنَادَى أَصْحَابُ الْجَنَّةِ أَصْحَابَ النَّارِ, that the people of paradise would call out to the people of hell. And a dialogue would begin. أَنْ قَدْ وَجَدْنَا مَا وَعَدَنَا رَبُّنَا حَقًّا, that indeed we have found the promise of our Lord to be true. Meaning that we were able to uphold the ahkam of Allah upon the face of the earth, so as a result of which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us entry into paradise. قَدْ وَجَدْنَا مَا وَعَدَنَا رَبُّنَا حَقًّا فَهَلْ وَجَدْتُمْ مَا وَعَدَ رَبُّكُمْ حَقًّا, have you also found the promise of your Lord to be true? Meaning that you disobeyed and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ushered you away to the fire of hell? Of those people, they would be left with no choice but to reply, Na'am, qalu na'am. They would say, indeed, we have found the promise of our Lord to be true. We were unfaithful to the ahkam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because of which we have been made to enter into the fire of hell. Then, فَأَذَّنَ مُؤَذِّنٌ بَيْنَهُمْ أَلَّعْنَةُ اللَّهِ عَلَى الظَّالِمِينَ. Then a proclaimer would proclaim at that time, that may the curse of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be upon those individuals who oppress themselves. الَّذِينَ يَصُدُّونَ عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. There were such individuals who would hinder other men from the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَيَبْغُونَهَا عِوَجًا. And they sought to implement crookedness in the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَهُمْ بِالْآخِرَةِ كَافِرُونَ. And there were such individuals who would deny the life of the hereafter. So then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues by revealing the other side of the dialogue. وَنَادَى أَصْحَابُ النَّارِ أَصْحَابَ الْجَنَّةِ. That the people of the fire, they now would call out to the people of paradise. وَنَادَى أَصْحَابُ النَّارِ أَصْحَابَ الْجَنَّةِ. That a time would have passed upon them. They would have spent a very long time in the fire of hell. And they would have become totally burned beyond recognition. Black, like a piece of charcoal. So totally burned, charred. And at that time they would call out to the people of paradise. أَنْ أَفِيضُوا عَلَيْنَا مِنَ الْمَاءِ أَوْ مِمَّا رَزَقَكُمُ اللَّهِ. They would call out to them that, "O people of paradise, make dua to your Lord that He pours some water over us. We have been burning in this fire for a long time. It has become unbearable. We cannot stand it anymore. Is there any hope for us? أَفِيضُوا عَلَيْنَا مِنَ الْمَاءِ. Pour water over us so that we can become quenched, we can become cool. أَوْ مِمَّا رَزَقَكُمُ اللَّهِ. Or grant us some of the sustenance, some of the abundant sustenance that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you." قَالُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ حَرَّمَهُمَا عَلَى الْكَافِرِينَ. A very damning reply would be given to those individuals. Because it would be at that time when they would realize that there is absolutely no recourse to anything but punishment. No respite whatsoever. It would be said to them, إِنَّ اللَّهَ حَرَّمَهُمَا عَلَى الْكَافِرِينَ. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has made what you are requesting, water and sustenance, He has made those two things haram upon those individuals who deny the message of La ilaha illallah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, again, He's using a dramatization, a skit, to send the message so that insan could understand the reality of heaven and hell. And then there is another dialogue that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reveals in the Quran about those people who are sitting on the fence. So you have people whose good deeds would have been heavier, and they would have been granted entry into paradise. On the other hand, you have people whose bad deeds would have been heavier. They would have been granted entry into hell. But then there is a third category which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran. The third category are those individuals whose balance is equal. Good deeds equal with the bad deeds. So what will become of these individuals? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed a surah, Surah Al-A'raf, meaning the heights. It is a secluded, elevated position which it is between heaven and hell, which will be inhabited by these individuals who are neither there or there, here or there. So they will be inhabiting this place or this realm, so to say. And a conversation again would occur. So they would be unsure what would be their faith, because they are now sitting in the middle. Would it be that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would overlook our shortcomings and grant us entry into paradise? Or would it be that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would hold us to task for all of our shortcomings? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they would be sitting in that position, and from that vantage point they will be able to see in hell, and they will also be able to see in heaven, in paradise. And they would call out to both parties. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the verses of Surah Al-A'raf. وَعَلَى الْأَعْرَافِ رِجَالٌ يَعْرِفُونَ كُلًّا بِسِيمَاهُمْ. These individuals will be sitting on that vantage point, and they would be able to recognize both parties by the signs of their faces. In another verse of the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala explains the meaning of this. So those people who would enter into paradise, they would have a nur on their face. And the people who would be made to enter into hell, they would have a darkness on their face. So from these signs, the people who are in the A'raf, who are on the heights, they will be able to recognize who belongs to paradise and who belongs to hell. So they will begin to call out to them, وَنَادَوْا أَصْحَابَ الْجَنَّةِ أَنْ سَلَامٌ عَلَيْكُمْ. And they will call out to the people of paradise, Salamun alaykum, peace be unto you. لَمْ يَدْخُلُوهَا وَهُمْ يَطْمَعُونَ. These individuals who will be sitting in Al-A'raf at that time, they would not have been given entry into paradise. وَهُمْ يَطْمَعُونَ. But they would have that very hope in their hearts, that maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would grant me also the success that He has granted these individuals. And then وَإِذَا صُرِفَتْ أَبْصَارُهُمْ تِلْقَاءَ أَصْحَابِ النَّارِ. And then they will turn their gaze towards the people of the fire. And what they would see unfolding in front of them, the horror, the terror, the screaming, the punishment. Immediately they would call out to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, رَبَّنَا لَا تَجْعَلْنَا مَعَ الْقَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ. Oh Allah, oh our Lord, oh our Rabb, do not make us from amongst the oppressors. Do not, punish us as you are punishing these individuals. Overlook our shortcomings. And then the people of the A'raf, they would call out to people who they recognize. And they would begin to have a conversation with them. وَنَادَى أَصْحَابُ الْأَعْرَافِ رِجَالًا يَعْرِفُونَهُم بِسِيمَاهُمْ قَالُوا مَا أَغْنَى عَنْكُمْ جَمْعُكُمْ وَمَا كُنْتُمْ تَسْتَكْبِرُونَ. The people who were arrogant upon the face of the earth, they would say to them, مَا أَغْنَى عَنْكُمْ. All of your wealth that you accumulated while you were in this world, all of the money and the jewels, the houses, the land that you accumulated while you were alive in this world, مَا أَغْنَى عَنْكُمْ. It cannot bring you any type of benefit now. And the fact that you were arrogant on top of it, it cannot benefit you. And then they would turn to the people who were considered to be weak upon the face of the earth. And they would say to them, أَهَؤُلَاءِ الَّذِينَ أَقْسَمْتُمْ لَا يَنَالُهُمُ اللَّهُ بِرَحْمَةٍ. Are these the same people who you were saying that definitely the mercy of Allah would never be with these individuals? The mercy of Allah has to be with us. Why? Because we are the rich and the powerful and the strong in the community. So the mercy of Allah is with us. These weak individuals, the mercy of Allah is not with them. But then it will be said to these weak people, udkhuluha, that you enter into the gates of paradise. La khawfun alaykum wa la antum tahzanun. Today is such a day that there will be no sorrow, no pain on you, and you will be granted entry into the paradise. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala again wants us to understand that this is no laughing matter. That we are living in this world for a very, very short period of time, and eventually we all have to head towards al-akhirah. In Surah Al-Zumar, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala again mentions another dialogue. This dialogue would take place between the people who are entering the gates of hell, between them and the guardian angels of hell, number one. Number two, the people who are entering into the gates of paradise and the guardian angels of paradise. So both parties will be led in large groups. At the end of Surah Al-Zumar, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes mention of this. وَسِيقَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا إِلَى جَهَنَّمَ زُمَرًا. That they will be driven in large droves, in flocks, towards the gates of Jahannam. حتى إذا جاءوها وفتحت أبوابها وقال لهم خزنتها ألم يأتكم رسل منكم. Until they would come just before the gates of hell. فتحت أبوابها, the gates will be flung open for them. But just before they are admitted into the fire of hell, they will have a very short dialogue. And they will be trying frantically to look for some type of recourse, some type of solution. And the last person that they would actually see would be the angel standing at the gate of hell, the guardian angel. So they would try to reach out to him, and they would call out to him that you make dua to your Lord. But the angel, he would reply by saying, Alam ya'tikum rusulun minkum. That did not a prophet come to you? Did not someone come to you to warn you about this day? وَيُنذِرُونَكُمْ لِقَاءَ يَوْمِكُمْ هَذَا. That he came and he warned you about this, the meeting of this day, and what eventually would happen if you continued along a particular path. They also would be stunned. They would have no reply. They would say, Bala, qalu Bala, indeed someone came to us and we were warned. The message was given to us. Whether directly or indirectly or through dramatization, the message was given to us. وَلَكِنْ حَقَّتْ كَلِمَةُ الْعَذَابِ عَلَى الْكَافِرِينَ. But it is too late now. The decision of adhab has already been made upon us. قِيلَ ادْخُلُوا أَبْوَابَ جَهَنَّمَ خَالِدِينَ فِيهَا. So then it would be, the final proclamation would be made upon them. ادْخُلُوهَا. That you enter into the gates of Jahannam خَالِدِينَ فِيهَا, wherein you would stay for an eternity. But then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives the flip side. وَسِيقَ الَّذِينَ اتَّقَوْا رَبَّهُمْ إِلَى الْجَنَّةِ زُمَرًا. That those individuals who feared their Lord, and they were always in the habit of remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, very particular about the ahkam of Allah, about salah, about fasting, about charity, and so on and so forth. They also would be led in very large flocks just to the front of the gates of paradise. فُتِحَتْ أَبْوَابُهَا. The doors will be thrown open for these individuals. وَقَالَ لَهُمْ خَزَنَتُهَا سَلَامٌ عَلَيْكُمْ. And the guardian angels of paradise will be saying to them, Salamun alaykum, peace be unto you. Tibatum, indeed you have done good. You have done well, you have excelled. Tibatum, fadkhuluha khalidin. Enter into the gates of paradise. And as a final proclamation, you should know that you will be staying in the paradise for an eternity. So the people of paradise, they would enter into paradise and they would be enjoying the bounties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the people in hell, when they would have been admitted into hell, they would now begin a dialogue amongst themselves. Because now there is no one else to reach out to. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has doomed us to the fire of hell. We tried reaching out to the guardian angel of hell. That also fell on deaf ears. The only option we have is to probably have a dialogue amongst ourselves. So, وَإِذْ يَتَحَاجُّونَ فِي النَّارِ. Remember that time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that you should pay attention to the coming time when the people of the fire will have a dialogue among themselves. فَيَقُولَ الضُّعَفَاءُ لِلَّذِينَ اسْتَكْبَرُوا. The so-called weak individuals would now begin to call out to those people who had prominence and who had power upon the face of the earth. لِلَّذِينَ اسْتَكْبَرُوا. And they would begin to say to them, إِنَّا كُنَّا لَكُمْ تَبَعًا. That in the worldly life we would follow you blindly. The leaders, the so-called rich people, the powerful people, the politicians, they would say to them that إِنَّا كُنَّا لَكُمْ تَبْعًا, that in the worldly life we used to follow you blindly. فَهَلْ أَنْتُمْ مُغْنُونَ عَنَّا نَصِيبًا مِنَ النَّارِ. And in that time, in that life, you had a solution for everything. You had a patch for every sore. Now we have found ourselves in a predicament. فَهَلْ أَنْتُمْ مُغْنُونَ عَنَّا نَصِيبًا مِنَ النَّارِ. Do you have a solution today? Could you offer us some type of recourse? Some type of solution that would save us from the fire of hell? هَلْ أَنْتُمْ مُغْنُونَ عَنَّا نَصِيبًا مِنَ النَّارِ. قَالَ الَّذِينَ اسْتَكْبَرُوا إِنَّا كُلٌّ فِيهَا. They would reply simply by saying that we are also in the fire just like you. We have also been condemned just like you. We have also been doomed just like you. إِنَّ اللَّهَ قَدْ حَكَمَ بَيْنَ الْعِبَادِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has already decided our faith. We cannot change it. We cannot help you. But then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in another verse revealed about the dialogue of the people of the paradise. فَأَقْبَلَ بَعْضُهُمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ يَتَسَاءَلُونَ قَالَ قَائِلٌ مِّنْهُمْ إِنِّي كَانَ لِي قَرِينٌ. That when the people of paradise would have entered into paradise, they would be sitting amongst themselves and they would be talking, involving in small talk, and they would reminisce about their life in this world. And one person would say to another, قَالَ قَائِلٌ مِّنْهُمْ إِنِّي كَانَ لِي قَرِينٌ. Do you know when I was alive in this world? I had a friend, إِنِّي كَانَ لِي قَرِينٌ. And this friend, quite strangely enough, he would try to convince me against